This is a picture of my mom and dad on their wedding day. They got married in Las Vegas at the Little White Chapel. And they both look so young. My mom looks like a movie star, and my dad looks very dapper, handsome. It's hard to believe after all these years, everything that he put the family through. For greed, jealousy, malice. He wasn't the person that is depicted in this photo. Oh my God. He looks like the devil. Look at him. Look at him. He looks like the devil. That's not my dad. That doesn't look like him at all. Oh my God. I grew up in what I thought was a normal, happy, healthy home in Fontana, California. It was myself and my brother. He's 18 months younger than me, so we were really close in age. We'd go down to the park and play, and it was just a normal childhood. Mom would whistle, and we'd hear, and we'd come in for dinner and have dinner and go back outside and play again. I was never in the house. We always were outside doing something. My parents' names are Bill and Betty Gray. My mom was great. She was just very fun-loving, very funny. They were affectionate towards one another. I don't remember them fighting very often. Growing up, I was a daddy's girl because he made me feel safe. He made me feel loved. But now, I hate him. I hate what he's done to our family. I hate what he did to my mom. I wish he would have died. Because then he would be gone and she would be here. I miss her a lot. Our property in California had 2 homes sitting on it. One home was vacant, but my dad kept a lot of his hunting rifles in that house. And my mom had the idea of renting the property so that we had more money. And they rented it to a gentleman who I don't recall his name. But one day, the tenant left. I guess the guy didn't have his rent money, so he left in the middle of the night with 3 of my dad's rifles. And he was livid. My dad wasn't going to let anybody get away with his guns. He said he was going to go find that SOB and he was going to make him pay. And I didn't make too much of it at the time. When he got back, I overheard him talking to my mom. He had gotten most of his guns back, but the guy that took them was dead.
He got what he deserved.
That he had killed him and pushed him off the bridge. I really don't know what my mom thought. I don't know if she was scared and she didn't say anything because she was scared. I don't know if she truly believed that he did what he did, but she didn't challenge him. To my knowledge, I don't believe anybody ever came looking for him. I was probably 12 or 13, so I didn't know what to believe. All I know is what I overheard. Looking back now, I believe my father murdered this man, and he got away with it. My dad didn't stick with one job for very long. He liked being his own boss. He thought he was too good for a 9-to-5 job. He wasn't making as much money as he wanted to, so he would quickly change to something else. He would get frustrated. Whenever my father would start talking about money and lack of it, that was just a huge red flag that something bad is about to take place. One day, my mom woke up, the sun was coming up, and this was like at 3 or 4 in the morning. And she thought it looked awful orange. And she got up out of bed and looked out the window and noticed that it wasn't the sun, and the barn caught on fire. Fire! Fire! My mom came running into my brother in my bedroom and woke us up and says, "There's a fire. You need to get dressed." I started crying immediately. And I was scared that the house was going to catch on fire and we were all going to die. Me and my brother just stood there and watched it burn, with a lot of our animals in it. And the barn burnt to the ground. I mean, there was nothing left but concrete. And the police told my dad it was an arson. Then they started asking him a bunch of questions about, is it somebody that's out to get you? He's like, no. And he seemed pretty calm. My dad seemed to be okay with that, which I thought was very unusual, very out of character. But the animals that were in the barn perished. They all died. And he just acted like it was no big deal. Just seemed kind of like blank. At the time, I was very young, very impressionable. All I remember him getting excited about was saying that it was arson. They didn't know who was responsible for it, and the insurance paid out on it. I had no reason not to believe him, but at the same time, I had mixed emotions. But I didn't share them with him because I didn't want to get on his bad side. This is one of my favorite pictures. My parents, proud owners of a pawn shop. They're standing behind the countertop with the guns behind them. Pawn shop was my dad's baby. It was his whole life. He was in seventh heaven. He thought he was on top of the world. The biggest seller at a pawn shop was a gun. The police shopped in there. The sheriff shopped in there. And my dad was the man in charge. He was the man on top, and he was the man to see. And that made him feel very powerful because he was allowed to carry a gun. And he just let people know that, you know, he had a gun and he wasn't afraid to use it. He joined the Elks Club, where he met a lot of people, him and my mom's age, that they could hang out with and do things with and promote his business and just take my mom out and show her off, and they'd go dancing, and they were just happy. They were just happy. I didn't see any animosity between the two of them. One day, I was home with my mom. The phone rang, and my dad had called and said the pawn shop's on fire.
Oh my God, Bill.
And he was like, I can't believe this is happening to me again. When the pawn shop went up, there were explosives in there were bullets in there, and there were tenants that lived below in the pawn shop. It was a very dangerous situation. And my mom and I were told to stay away because it wasn't a stable structure. And she was crying and I was consoling her. And I became very upset when I found out about the fire, because I knew in the back of my head that my dad probably did it. When the family finally got all together and my dad showed up, he was just like, "Betty, don't worry, we have insurance. We can rebuild. The insurance money will cover it."
Everything's gonna be fine.
It didn't faze him at all. This is just too much of a coincidence. Is there any way that Dad could be involved? My father was a suspect, but they could not prove it, and he was never charged. He had my brother there saying, "No, my dad couldn't have done this. He was with me." But as time went on, I learned that they stopped at the pawn shop before they went fishing. My brother told me. He told me that he waited in the car while my dad went in and grabbed some items that he needed. Wouldn't have taken him very long to do what he did to light the fires. But I think he had my brother there as a witness and was using him to save his own butt. Once again, my dad got a big old fat insurance check in the mail, and they rebuilt bigger and stronger. I remember one day, it was my mom's birthday, and my mom came up to me and she goes, "Where is it?" And I says, "What do you mean, where is it?" And she goes, "Where's the $5? And I says, "I don't know what you're talking about." And she goes, "Grandma sent me $5 in my card, and now I can't find it."
Can't take anything wrong.
My father overheard my mom and myself arguing, and he proceeded into the kitchen where we were. The next thing I know, he backhanded my mom. He pushed her up against the wall and lifted her by her neck and said, "Sarah would never steal from you." It frightened me. I know it frightened my mom. The look in his eyes was pure demonic, filled with hatred and disgust. And I was in shock. And I started yelling at my dad, "Don't touch her, put her down, leave her alone." And then he finally released her. And he says, "Don't you ever accuse Sarah of taking anything ever again." I was afraid for my mom and her safety. And I didn't know what was going to happen next. One day, my dad and I were working the pawn shop, and before lunch, a guy came in with a folder and put it down on the front counter and called my dad over and says, "I have your insurance papers ready to sign." And I says, "Insurance papers for what?" And he says, "Life insurance for $250,000. So my dad said, "Well, Betty's not here. She won't be back for a couple of days. Can Sarah sign? Can she forge Betty's name?" And he goes, "Well," he says, "No, not really." He says, "It doesn't work like that." And my father was very insistent. And then that's when the insurance guy said, okay, we're only doing this one time. He says, sir, you can go ahead and sign your mom's name to the policy. Well, I had a lot of reservations. I just didn't feel easy about it at all. I wish I would have never signed it. I knew I shouldn't have signed it when I did. I feel so guilty about that. Damn him. He knew I didn't want to do it and he made me do it anyways. And he told me to never tell Mom what I did. And that even made me feel more uncomfortable. I signed it reluctantly, and now, looking back, I know if I wouldn't have signed it, then she would still be here. This is my mom's business card. She was called the Cake Lady. She became very famous for her wedding cakes. One of the first wedding cakes that she made was my wedding cake. And when she got her business cards, she was in seventh heaven. She was like, I'm a businesswoman. I own my own business. It succeeded in what she started out to do. And it was a bigger success than she could have even imagined it would be. So she became overwhelmed quite a bit because she had, the house to take care of and my dad and the pawn shop. And then she would do her cakes in between. But I think her making cakes was a way of her to escape. My dad became jealous of the time that she spent doing her cakes instead of coddling him. And he became resentful and says, I can't believe you have another cake to do. When are you going to call this quits? When you going to be done? But that was something that she had that he could not take away from her. At that time, I was pregnant, but I hadn't shared the news with anybody. The only people that knew was my husband and myself. And I was going to tell my mom and dad that night, about 1:00 in the afternoon, went to get into my vehicle. As soon as I closed the door, a black sedan pulled up behind my vehicle. And all 4 doors opened in the sedan. 2 police got out and my dad got out. And I knew immediately that something horrible had happened. I says, is it Mom? And he says, yeah, it's Mom. And I says, where is she? And he says, we need to go in the house and talk. And I says, no, I'm not going anywhere until I get some answers. And one of the detectives said that she had died. And I got very hysterical, started screaming and crying. I was like, where's Mom? And he says, she's in Idaho. And I says, what is she doing in Idaho? And he says, oh, she went over to hang out with her friend for the weekend. And he says, your mom and her friend were murdered. I asked him, I says, how were they killed? And he says, they were each shot once in the head while they were in bed. My father was unreasonably calm. And he says, well, it looks like an occult did it. This picture is of several red candles that were lit, and they melted down to nothing. And I believe the countertop in front of it was written in my mother's blood. It says, "Satan loves you." That goes along with the other writings on the walls in my mother's blood. Helter Skelter, pigs, kind of like taken out of the book Helter Skelter. My dad was saying that it was a satanic cult that did it, and it was a random killing. And things already weren't adding up. These were premeditated murders. These were not done just on the fly. He had a plan. He knew what he needed to do and what he wanted to do. What kind of a person? A very evil, conniving person. As if killing her wasn't enough, and you're picking up pools of blood and taking the time to set the candles up and writing "Satan loves you" and the other things that he did throughout the house. It makes me sick. I was not in a good way. My brain was all over the place. My dad says, "Come here and sit down," and he put his arms around me. I says, "We have some news to share with you." And he goes, "Oh yeah, what's that?" And I says, "Well, I hate to tell you this now, and I hate to tell you like this, with all this going on, but you need to know that I am pregnant."
I'm gonna have you.
I've known for 2 weeks. I haven't told anybody, and we were going to tell you guys tonight. He, for the first time, showed emotion. And he squeezed me really tight, and he goes, "Oh my God." He goes, "Oh my God, if I would have only known. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry, honey. I wish I would have known." And I felt uncomfortable because of his reaction. It was like, what would matter if you did know? And I didn't understand. And then I put two and two together. That was his way of telling me that if he would have known I was pregnant, that he would not have killed my mom. I had stayed the night with my dad that night in his home. And I didn't sleep all night. I couldn't get my father's reaction out of my head. So I got up the next morning. I heard my dad.
Morning.
And he goes, "Well, what do you think?" And I says, "I don't know. What do you mean, what do I think?" And he goes, "Well, look at my face." And I was like, "Your beard's gone. You shaved off your beard." And he goes, "Yeah, how's it look?" I says, "Why did you shave it? Are you trying to change your appearance?" And he says, "No, it was just time for a change."
I'm a new man.
And he had had that beard for years. That was a huge red flag. Huge. When I saw my father without his beard, it triggered something inside of me. And it made me believe that he did have something to hide. This is the Roundy House in Idaho Falls. I had never been there before. The first time I was there was when I went with my dad to pick up my mom's car to bring it back to Jackson. My mom had gone to Idaho Falls to Rita's house for the weekend. Her and my mom were very close friends. I only went to the house the one time. It was hard. I didn't want to be there. It felt really creepy. It felt evil. I just didn't want any part of it. I wanted to get in the car and go. This house represents evil to me for the things that took place inside of it. 2 innocent women's lives were taken. None of it made any sense. While things weren't really setting well with me, I still wasn't sure if he was responsible. It was like I walked into a nightmare and I couldn't get out. The following day, my mom's best friend called, and she asked me to come to the house. She says, I need to talk to you about your mom. I don't want your dad to know that you're here. So I walked in and we both started crying and we were hugging each other. She says, Sarah, nobody's told you this, but your mom was having an affair. And I says, my dad needs to hear this. You need to tell him. And she says, he already does know. Your dad found out. He was rummaging through your mom's closet and came upon a bag that was full of letters and envelopes and cards to your mom from this person. When I learned that they weren't living as husband and wife, but they were still residing in the same home, it hurt me. I was sad. I thought everything was okay. My mom told her friend, if anything happens to me, it was Bill. He's responsible for your mom's death. I was drained. I was tired. I had just had a baby. And the last thing I wanted was my dad around my family. And so I chose to confront him. This was several months after the murder.
Dad.
Well, he was sitting on the couch, and I says, I need to ask you a question. And he says, what is it? And I says, did you kill my mom?
Tell me the truth.
I says, look at me and tell me, did you kill my mom? And he said nothing. He wouldn't look at me and he wouldn't give me an answer. By him not saying anything, it said everything to me. My emotions were all over the place. I knew in my gut that he did it. I knew why he did it. My father killed my mother because he was jealous of the relationship she was having with her new boyfriend, and he did not want her to leave him and take half of everything that they owned. I believe Rita was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And once I spoke with the police, things started coming together. And they shared with me a report from a security guard that had seen my dad. The night of my mom's murder, that my father was in Idaho Falls. I did not know this.
These are from the scene.
And they had some photos that they wanted to share with me. And they showed the blood on the wall and the candles. There were a couple cigarette butts that were laying in the same vicinity, and they just happened to be the brand that my father smoked. I asked them, if you have such an overwhelming amount of evidence, why haven't you arrested him yet? And they said because it was all circumstantial. They weren't going to get that smoking gun. What they were going to get was me and what I could bring to the table. I realized that I was my mom's only voice and that I had to help her to bring her murderer to justice, even if it meant prosecuting my father. I spoke with the detectives regularly, gathering information from them and giving them information that I had to hopefully help them along in their case. One day, my father came over to my house, and I wasn't quite sure why he was there. He just came over and wanted to talk. He asked me if I was working with the police.
I just told him what they already know.
And I told him that I have been in contact with them. And you are their only suspect and they are coming up to you.
I'm not going down for this.
It was hard. Up until that time, I was my dad's cheerleader. And I stuck up for him. I loved my dad a lot. He was everything to me. But he was no longer my dad. It was like the devil had gotten a hold of him. And he was angry. And he left. Well, as time went on, other things started happening. I was afraid that somebody was out to get me. And he led me to believe that there might be a bomb in my car. And he wanted to check my tires and all of this stuff. He made me feel really uncomfortable, and that gave me bad dreams. I thought maybe if my dad could kill my mom, would it be possible for him to kill me as well? I don't even want to look at this. Because I don't want to remember. I want it to all go away. I'm ready to get off the roller coaster. This is a picture of my dad. Looking very humble and happy. This photo was taken in our home on Stacy Lane. That's where my mom and dad lived when my dad killed my mom. It's a very handsome picture of him. But it's not him. One October evening, there was somebody at the door. They were knocking on the door, and I walked downstairs. And 2 police officers was standing there. The police arrested my father. They found him sitting outside in front of my house, where he told me he was just taking a rest. He was on his way to Vegas. Well, this is the second time in 2 weeks that we have seen you in front of Sarah's house. It scared me to death. When the police told me that my father was caught outside of my home 2 different times, I was shocked. And when they searched the car, they found 2 loaded handguns on the front seat. They found several rifles and handguns in the trunk of the vehicle, as well as a brown paper bag full of $80,000. I knew he was going to try to get in the house and kill me. When I went to trial, it was the most emotional roller coaster I had ever been on in my life. I cried. I pleaded with my dad. I says, Daddy, I says, please just tell us that you did it so we can be done with this. I says, I love you so much. You're my father. You'll always be my daddy. And I says, I don't forgive you for what you did. I says, but I'm trying to understand. And I just want you to stop this now. It's not necessary. And I got off the witness stand and walked across the courtroom, and 2 cops came up and grabbed me on both sides because I was going to my dad to give him a hug. And I was like, please stop this. Just make it stop. And we broke for a time so that I could compose myself. I just remember falling into my aunt's arms and just being so overwhelmed with every emotion you can think of. I didn't want to be there anymore, but I knew I had to finish what I started. Trial lasted 2 weeks as it came to a close, and they were getting ready to read the verdict. And I started shaking. I was shaking so bad I couldn't stop. And I was just crying. And the judge said to the jury, how do you find the defendant? And they said, guilty, first-degree murder. About a week or so after the trial, I went to the jail to see if he would talk to me, and without a bunch of people around, and just reiterate with him, I know you did this. I wish you would, admit it. You're not going to be any worse off than you are now if you admit it. But I was looking for closure. I drove to Idaho Falls, and I asked if I could see him. And the jailer came back and he says that he doesn't have a daughter anymore and he doesn't want to see me. And I says, okay, that's fine. I says, would you please see to it that he gets this Bible? And he said, yes, most definitely. He'd give him the Bible. And that was the last contact that I tried to have with him. Oh my goodness. This was taken 4 months before she was murdered. She was in California visiting her sister, and she looks so beautiful. She just looks very healthy and fit and happy, like she doesn't have a care in the world. But I know now that her mind must have been muddled with what ifs. What if Bill finds me? What if Bill tries to hurt me? You don't see any of that in this picture. She was very good at hiding things. This is one of my favorite photos of her. The things I loved about my mom the most was she was so warm-hearted. She treated everybody with respect and dignity. I recall a time working at the pawn shop alongside her when my father was at home ill. And a woman came in and she had a little baby. And she wanted to pawn her wedding ring so she could afford to buy some diapers. And my mom told her to keep her ring. And my mom went to her wallet and got $20 out. And she says, here, I hope this helps you. That's the kind of person my mom was.
Due to him attacking me that night, and as many times as I was strangled and beaten and All the times I went without oxygen. I have memory loss. I have a traumatic brain injury. I possibly suffered a stroke that night. I'm going to have to live with this for the rest of my life. That of everything that I could forget, I wish I could forget this, but it's something I'll never forget. I didn't think I was going to get upset. I thought I was going to be able to do this without crying. This is actually the knife that I had that night, the knife that Ray gave me and had me start carrying. When Ray first gave me the knife, he kind of taught me how to use it. It was more of a caring gesture. Like, I want you to be okay if I'm not around. If anything happens, I want you to be able to defend yourself and protect yourself. I think it's very ironic that the thing that he gave me to protect myself with is ultimately what I use to protect myself against him. I fully 100% believe that Ray is evil. This is a picture of me and Ray. I'm still smiling in this picture, so. It just makes me remember that there were good times. We had so much fun in the beginning. And we spent a lot of time together and we hung out and played games. In the beginning, it was just a lot of fun then. I don't know, I just feel stupid saying there were good times. Like, how could there have been good times? But, I mean, there were. I think from the very moment I met him, he was playing a role. Looking at this picture, if I could go back, I would tell that girl to run as far away from that man as she could. The day that I met Ray, living in Ohio, and I have my house with my 2 kids. I was pretty kind of lost and broken and just searching, I guess, for myself or something. I was single. I had just gotten out of a relationship and I didn't know who I was anymore. I really didn't feel like I had a purpose in life. I just was kind of existing and floating through life. Meeting Ray was completely random. A mutual friend of ours had a gathering at her house and I had went over there. He was nice and funny and he seemed caring and he seemed like he was attentive and he seemed like a nice guy. I don't think I've ever really laughed so much with anybody. I didn't want to stop talking to him. I didn't want him to go home. And I was kind of opening up to him about what was going on in my life and he said he'd be there and kind of help get me through it and just kind of seemed like a very, very caring person and that made me want to get to know him more and spend more time with him. I did not realize that I was literally giving him everything that he was going to use against me on a silver platter. Maybe it's because you're so lost, they seem so perfect. I don't know. I thought I was opening up and actually connecting with someone I didn't know who he was going to turn out to be. Pretty early on, I knew that he had been previously married, but he had been divorced for a long time. We were pretty much together almost every day. We would go fishing and go walk and hang out in the parks, go out to the bars and have drinks. One night, Ray and I were out at the bar drinking, and then all of a sudden, Ray opened up a little bit about his past to me.
It's something I gotta tell you.
And told me that he had a kidnapping charge that he had spent some time in jail for. After he said that, I really didn't know what to believe.
Something I'm not proud of.
I was, I think, still in just shock, and my heart sank. He told me that his ex-wife was dating somebody new and that person had hit their child, one of their sons. So he went over there to fight the person and drug him out of the house and beat him up. So he told me that he got a kidnapping charge for dragging the guy out of the house. Not the best thing, but in my mind, it was okay. I guess you're defending your kid. I mean, not the best way to do it, but okay. I understand. Maybe I wouldn't go to that extremes too, but you're sticking up for your kid, and it was a long time ago, so I'm not going to judge you on something that you were honest with me about. But I think that should have been my warning sign. I wish I would have known the full story. I really wish I would have asked more questions. I wish I would have been not so trusting. Later on, his ex-wife contacted me and we've talked, and I do know what the real story is. He actually kidnapped her and took her to a cemetery, drug her around by her hair, and told her to pick out her own grave. We had gone to a birthday party, and there was a guy that came on a motorcycle. And I don't know, I love motorcycles. My parents had motorcycles. I grew up around them. It had been a long time since I had taken a ride on a bike. So I was pretty excited about it. I asked him to take me for a ride around the block on his motorcycle.
Would you mind?
Not at all.
Ray actually was standing right there when I asked.
There you go.
And apparently that was not the correct thing to do. Kind of didn't look happy, but he didn't immediately yell at me or anything like that. He just kind of was a little sulky, and then I just all of a sudden noticed that he was gone. At first I just thought, I'm like, oh, okay, he got mad about something. So I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Then I realized he actually left me at that party and I had to get a taxi home. I mean, I guess I should have thought he left me there, but I really honestly didn't know why. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Let me go home and find out what's going on. When I got home, he told me how disrespectful that was, that I should never ever disrespect him like that again, that no man was gonna take his lady out on a bike. And then Ray got very, very upset.
You thought you were slick?
It was just a motorcycle ride.
And we get into an argument, and he just all of a sudden came at me from behind. He had my shoulders pinned down. I'm remembering the look on his face, how mad and angry he was. It was scary and shocking, this whole other side of him that I had not ever seen before. He was punching me in the face. I remember asking him to stop, telling him to stop hitting me. But then I finally got away. I ran down to my neighbor's house. They came down to help me, but he had taken off. And the neighbors wanted to call the police, but I didn't let them, and I did not call the police. At that time, I was embarrassed. I was confused, and I really still at that time was struggling with, that's not really him. And then Ray began sending me messages, apologizing and promising to change and be a better person. He even encouraged me to call the cops on him. He told me that I should call the cops on him because he deserved to be in trouble for what he did. And I told him, no, I'm not going to do that to you, because at the time I saw it as remorse, not manipulation. But that's how good of a manipulator he is. I thought maybe, that was just a one-time thing. People have bad nights and do stupid things when they're drinking. So I fully did believe that it was not going to happen again. I wish I knew then what I know now. Ray wanted us to work on our relationship and continue to try to work on being a couple. At some point, we started talking about marriage, and we decided that we were just going to go downtown and get married. I was very nervous, very hesitant, very second-guessing myself, but at that time kind of scared to not go through with it because I didn't want to upset him. And I didn't know how he would react if I told him that I didn't want to anymore. So I went through with it and we got married. Once we got married, Ray moved into my house with me. Things were pretty good at first. We got along pretty good, had a lot of fun. I thought that being married would make us closer and make our relationship stronger. I didn't think anything bad was gonna happen again. In the morning, I was trying to wake him up and he was sleeping and I was shaking him on his back.
Hey, Ray, wake up.
And he kind of rolled over and my hands kind of got trapped between him and the couch. And when I pulled my hands out, it scratched his back. It wasn't anything serious. He just kind of looked at me and I just woke him up and told him it was time to get up and go to work. It's a little awkward, but not like hostile or anything like that. I, again, didn't think anything of it and went about getting ready for my day. And all of a sudden there is a knock on the front door and it's the police. He called the police and told them that I had attacked him. I remember I was thinking, are you serious? What is going on here? There was no yelling, there was no fighting. I'm I don't understand this. I didn't do anything. I didn't put my hands on him. They're he has scratches on his back. I was I literally was waking him up on the couch.
Hey!
I explained to them exactly what happened. He just kind of stood there and let it all happen. And I'm are you kidding me right now? You're taking me to jail over a scratch on somebody's back. He didn't try to help me at all until I was in the handcuffs.
Ray, please!
All right, officers. All right.
Then he tried to be the savior and, oh, please don't arrest her. I didn't mean to call you guys. It wasn't that bad. And then it was the nice guy that was going to save me from the situation that he put me in. I was furious. It didn't make sense to me why he did this to me when I didn't call the police on him when he had beaten me so terribly before. Looking back, I think Ray was just trying to teach me that I had to do what he wanted, that it was his way, that if I didn't comply with him, that I was going to be taught some kind of lesson. He was going to do something to show me that I did something wrong. Shortly after Christmas, my daughter had a friend staying the night. It was one of those nights he was on the couch, I was in the bedroom. We weren't really hanging out or talking. When I got home and I first got my daughter and her friend situated in her bedroom and go and look at my room, and I was just kind of shocked. The bedroom door had been kicked in. My mattress has been flipped over. He's rifled through all of my things. There's things thrown about the room he's searching for something that I don't know what he's searching for. It looks like a mini tornado had went through my bedroom. So then I asked him, what's going on? Why are you doing that?
What is wrong with you?
And he just immediately starts telling me that I'm hiding stuff from him in the bedroom, and but he can't tell me what I'm hiding.
I know you're sneaking around.
What are you talking about?
We get into an argument. He always wanted to know what I was doing and where I was, and I guess he felt like he didn't know something. And he pushes me down on the couch. I'm very upset. I don't know what he's going to do. He gets angry and goes off on the deep end. And he's kind of antagonizing me, what are you going to do? So I have my little pocket knife in my hand, and I'm telling him, if you put your hands on me again, I said, I'm going to defend myself. I'm going outside, get out of my way. I kind of just walked around him and went outside to the patio. I didn't know this at the time, but my daughter had saw Ray push me and she called the police. So the police show up. They told me that Ray had showed them a video of us arguing in the kitchen with me with a knife in my hand, and I took a step towards him, which was threatening towards him, so that they had to arrest me for domestic violence. He just had his phone in his hand. I didn't even know that he was recording. My plan when I was coming home was to go to the courts first and file a separation, because once I had those separation papers, I could legally get them to make him leave my house. And then the COVID pandemic hit. The courts were not going to be open. There's nothing I can do. It was literally like walking on eggshells, not knowing what to do and how to act. During this time, there was quite a few nights that I slept with my bedroom door locked. And I just absolutely dreaded the fact that I was going to be stuck in the house with this person 24/7. I don't know what he would do if I finally do leave him. I was terrified. The Ray that I first met, I don't think it truly exists. I don't think any part but the manipulative, evil, mean, abusive person exists. I think it was all just lies and manipulation. I didn't want to let Ray know what I had planned because I didn't trust him and I didn't know how he would react, and I was just trying to maintain and survive and play the role and continue to plan my escape. I decided I'm not gonna sit at home and deal with this. So I got a hold of some friends and I went and hung out with some friends for the night. I wake up in the morning and I call my mom on the way home. My mom tells me that I need to get home because he had killed my dog. And I don't even remember the drive home. I just remember getting there and just like, what the? I don't need to take pictures. I'm just going to video everything. So that is a video that I took the day that I came home, and it just shows just the pure destruction of my house and all my belongings, and you could see the dolls, my grandparents' dolls with their heads missing. And I mean, I knew he was a violent person, but I guess I didn't know the extremes and the level that his violence could get to. I didn't think he would literally go from one end of the house to the other and break everything in his path. God, and then my bedroom. That was where he murdered my poor dog. God, and that back wall, that was Shaggy splattered against that wall in my bed, and right where I laid my head every night to sleep. Now, this is my dog Shaggy. He was one of my best friends. He was just such a freakishly large Shih Tzu. He slept at the end of my bed, right at my foot of my bed, between me and the door, because he had to protect his mama. He was my furry soulmate. Ray murdered him. He took his poor little body and beat him against the bedroom walls and tied a scarf around his neck and hung him from a tree in my backyard. You can see the purple pieces of scarf. I felt like, sadly, Shaggy sacrificed himself that night to save me that night. Because if it wasn't going to be Shaggy, it probably would have been me if I would have came home. I hate that, but it's how much he loved me and how much I loved him. My parents, when they were going through and cleaning the house and kind of trying to get it cleaned up, they found knives tucked around the house. Under the couch, under the living room coffee table, by the front door, just stashed everywhere. We later found a security camera that he had set up in the corner of the house. And on this security camera, you can see him assaulting my daughter. That night, I told my daughter to stay at her friend's house and to stay away from the house, but there was one point in the night that she needed her phone charger, so she went back down to the house. And he didn't want her in the house. Ray punched my daughter in the face and pushed her out the front door into a truck. I could tell by watching the video that he was waiting for me to come home because he'd be sitting on the couch and you would see headlights come across the front windows and he would get up and jump to the windows and look out the window and see what car it was. I fully believe that his plan that night was why he set the camera up was for me to come home, find my dog hanging from the tree, come into the house with no context, and him defend himself and kill me that night. At least that's what I think was his plan that night, because I don't know why else you would have knives tucked all around the house, in every corner of the house. When Ray got out of jail, he was living at his sister's house, and I had moved into an apartment with my kids. I had not told Ray where I had been living, but one day I got a text message from him with the picture of the front of my building. I think he was sending me a message that he could find me at any time if he wanted to. When I got his text message, I didn't at that time think very much of it. I had so much other things going on in my life. I didn't really take it as seriously as I probably should have at that time. Because looking back now, I feel like that was just the start of his plan to do something to me. It was a Sunday night. I was at home and Ray had been sending me messages and trying to get me to come over to his sister's house. Ray sent me photos of signed divorce papers, and I thought that that was his way of telling me that we were done and this relationship was over. He was telling me that he was very sorry for everything that he had destroyed in my house, and he wanted to try to make some things right, and he had $1,000 to give to me. I told Ray that I would meet him, but I had some ground rules, that I was not getting out of the car, that I was going to bring my knife to protect me, and I was not staying very long to talk to him. Driving over there, I just all of a sudden got this sinking feeling of dread in my stomach, and I regret not turning around. He walks up to my driver's window and he hands me some money through the window. I think it was like $400 or so. Then he said he has the rest of the money, the rest of the $1,000 for me in the garage. And if I'd go in the garage with him, he'll give me the rest of the money. I walked into the garage and he walked in behind me, shut the door, immediately punched me in the side of my head and said, "You really thought I was letting you go home tonight?" I mean, I immediately thought, what the did I just get myself into? I have my phone in my hand and I have the knife tucked in my waistband. So I'm trying to get the knife out, and I just have this sinking feeling that this is not going to turn into a very good situation. His eyes looked pure black. He just looked evil. Like he just, this pure rage and hatred. I've seen him look mad before, but never like that.
Get back!
He starts strangling me from behind. And I can't breathe, and I don't know what to do, but I've still got the knife in my hand. So I look to my right, and the only thing I can see is his thigh. So I stabbed him in his thigh. And he pulled me out, and he threw me down onto the ground and pinned me down and had my arms pinned down. Ray was telling me that he would stop strangling me if I gave him the knife. I'm not giving him that knife. So I took it and I threw it as hard as I could. But he didn't stop like he said he would. He continued to strangle me, and at that point, pretty sure I died for a moment because I wasn't there for I don't know how long, but where I was great. It was just the most euphoric place you have ever been, and the most calm and peaceful and just light and bright. And it's like from those moments that I experienced, I'm not afraid to die anymore, if that makes any sense. But then I came back to, and he had all of my hair wrapped around his fist, and he was dragging me. And I remember thinking in that moment, I was like, I just want to go back to where I just was. Like, just take me back there. I don't want to be doing this right now. And then I realized I had to keep fighting. I'm screaming for somebody to help me. I'm screaming that he's trying to kill me, and he's telling me that nobody's going to hear me and nobody is going to come and help me, that I'm going to die that night. And sitting on this toolbox is this big 8-inch metal C-clamp. And he grabs that and he hits me on the left side of my face right here a couple times with that. I could instantly feel the side of my face swell. I can hear all the sounds. I can hear myself struggling. I can hear myself gasping for my own breath. No one should ever have to hear something like that. I can hear myself begging for my own life. No one should ever have to hear that. But then he takes an electrical cord, cuts the end off of it, ties it into a noose, and starts chasing me around the garage with this electrical cord noose. And I know that I cannot let him get that around my neck. I know if he gets that around my neck, that I don't have my knife, I don't have anything, and what am I going to do to fight an electrical cord? So I just keep running from him, and as I'm doing this, I'm looking up and I notice that there's already a noose hanging from the rafters. So I feel like he's gonna hang me and then hang himself. What is going on? I know I'm in trouble and I just want to get out of there. Oh. Still shocks me. This is a picture of the C-clamp that I was beaten with. Yeah, I still just don't understand
like why you would pick up something like that and hit somebody with it and how it didn't do more damage to me.
But yeah, this was fairly early into it when I got hit with this. Three and a half hours of not knowing whether I was going to live or not. I was able to get away and out of the garage and get into my car and get it started, but the gear shift stuck. And by the time I tried to get it in the right gear, Ray was right there. He reached in and grabbed the keys. He forced me to get over in the passenger seat so he could drive and take off with me. So we leave there, and he's telling me that he just wants to go and talk to me, that he's not going to hurt me anymore, that he just wants to go talk to me. After he took me from his sister's house, she called him, and he answered, and he told her that he just wanted to go have a heart-to-heart talk with his wife one more time, but that he wasn't coming home and that he loved her.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
Hi, I need an officer out to my place regarding my brother, Raymond Cervantes. I just walked out to my garage where he was. There's blood all over the floor. He is known, his ex-wife, he actually took her to a cemetery and told her to pick out her grave. He was in prison for that.
Seriously, we ain't even close yet. Like, we still gotta go all the way to the end of this cornfield. Can you imagine how terrified I was? The fishing spot that he took me is a desolate area that is a path between two cornfields. If you didn't know that this place existed, you wouldn't be able to find it. Like, I'm in the middle of nowhere. Already been beat, strangled multiple times, hit with a C-clamp, told multiple times I'm never gonna see my kids or my dogs again, and then driven here. You could scream out there for hours and nobody would ever hear you. And we're still not even there. You can still see my tire tracks from the other night. I'm literally thinking that there's nobody out here that can help me. There's nobody that can hear me. And now we're by the water. What is he gonna do now? And then brought here. That is where I almost died. And then he picks up a piece of driftwood and starts beating me in the head. That's his shoe print. You can see this is right here. This is where I'm struggling. See it all. See his shoe prints and everything. Every time he strangled me or was on top of me, it was don't quit moving. No, don't give up. If you quit moving and you give up, you're dead. And he keeps telling me, bitch, why won't you just pass out? Why won't you just pass out? And he wants me to look at him, and he keeps telling me to look at him, and I won't look at him. And he's like, look at me. I want to watch your eyes like I watched Shaggy's. I look down and I see where I stabbed him at. So I took my fingers and I just dug. And just kind of distracted him enough that I could break away from his chokehold. So I get away from him. And I get to the back of my car and I'm kind of leaning against it and I'm looking at my surroundings. And I remember just telling myself in my head to run. And my brain is screaming that, but my body's not listening. Physically, I have nothing left. I have been fighting for hours. I am exhausted. I am messed up. I knew that if he attacked me one more time, I wouldn't make it. This whole night, he just had this sense of rage about him. And for this moment, I didn't sense that. So I tried to reason with him. I told him, I said, look at the stars. I said, they're so pretty. So why don't we just look at the stars together? Told him that he had the money, we had my car, we could just run away together. And then I said, I think I'm dying. I said, I really need to go to the hospital. I said, can I please go to the hospital? And amazingly, he agreed. I was like, I will tell him I got in a car accident. I said, I'm not going to tell him that this was you. I promise I'm not going to tell him it was you. And I got halfway between the car and the emergency room doors, and I turned and I looked at him, and I told him, I said, and if you think for a second I'm not telling them this was you, you're crazy. And I ran into the emergency room. This is a picture of me that night in the hospital. You can just see how misshapen my head is. My eyes are almost swollen shut. I think there were a few audible gasps when people saw me because it was just, I think, such a shocking thing to see. It reminds me how lucky I am to have made it through that night. It doesn't even look like me. It just doesn't even look like me. A person shouldn't look like that, especially from someone that was supposed to love them. That is Ray's mugshot. The night he tried to kill me. I don't like looking at this one. Oh, I don't like those eyes. That one gives me chills. Yeah. That captures the evilness of him, I think, perfectly. Just the look in his eyes, the look of hatred. He just looks mad and angry and evil. My life will never be the same after meeting him. I will live with lifelong consequences and medical issues because of the man in that picture. During the sentencing, the judge said about Ray that he's been doing this a lot of years and that he has seen a lot of things, but he now knows what the depths of an empty human soul looks like. There's still a chance that he can get out in my lifetime, and I don't think that he should ever be able to. I fully 100% believe that Ray is evil. I believe that he is an evil, soulless person. I would never feel safe if he was ever out on the streets again. I always believed in the best in people. Not anymore. I look at people and see the worst. I guess I have a little bit less faith in humanity after this, unfortunately. My life today is not what I imagined it would be. I don't like the memory problems. I don't like the stuttering. I'm still healing and still figuring out how to live with all of this stuff. I feel like I'm exposing myself for a lot of people to judge and look at me the wrong way and say the typical things that people say about domestic violence relationships. But I also know that it can help a lot of people and bring a lot of awareness. I always thought of myself as being independent and strong, and I would never take that from anybody, and then it happened. Still just take it day by day and still try to just survive, I guess. Going through something like that definitely empowers you and makes me feel stronger. I can face any situation. It may not be easy and you may have to fight like hell, but you'll get through it.